I'm so sorry about that, everyone. Hello, hello. Oh my goodness sakes. It is 9 minutes after when I was scheduled to go live, and I seriously had everything together. It was all great, and then I pushed the wrong button. Does that ever happen to you? I pushed the end button rather than the microphone button, and I disappeared. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope that all gave you some time to go get a cup of coffee or a treat or something. Anyways, it's 1 o'clock on Wednesday, October 22nd, Central Time. And I am Rachel Tessman from Stamp Your Art Out, coming to you live because I thought I would share with you some tips that I've been learning from other people, some things that I decided on, where I might go with my organization for the new stamp and die packaging that we have. So Stampin' Up made an announcement. I want to say, let's see if I can find that. I did have the post up. They made an announcement a while back. I want to say it was sometime this summer. And it was regarding some new stamp and die packaging. Oh, I know where I can find the information. Hang on. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of one of my blog posts, and there is a link that talks about it. So I'm going to click on that. Okay. So I made the announcement on my website, and I'm going to take you over there right now so you can see it. There's a lot going on here. You're going to see my side of it. So there's like a black bar across the top because this is my navigating of my website. But this is what the post looked like. And I posted it on August 27th, and it talked about the new changes coming ahead. Let me get that out of there. So the new packaging is, of course, tall and thinner and much more narrower. Great for saving space, that sort of thing. The flaps lock shut in the back, and then you can see compared to that woman's hand, the approximate size of it. It talks about in here too, the measurements are 5 and 5/8 inches, if you want to be really exact, or 5.5 by 9 inches. Okay, and then you can see the metric measurements in there too. The packaging, like the pictures that you see on it. So let's just go to the desktop now. So when you see a couple, let's take the two that they were showing. Let's take these two. When you see them, you can see that the images are similar for the dies versus the stamps on a lot of sets because they pair up together, they work together. These are the dies. I know that they're dies because across the top it says Stampin' Cut and Emboss dies. It doesn't say the name of the dies, which is the same as the stamp set. So Petals of Beauty. You can see that down here. I know that the font is really small down here, but if they made that same name here and here, what would be confusing? Because at first I was like, why don't they just put the name across the top? What would be confusing is to quickly find it, you would be looking for Petals of Beauty, and you might grab this, and that's your dies instead of your stamps, and you wanted your stamps. And anyways, so I'm kind of okay with this. I know that these are small, but you can also look at the pictures too. But maybe what you could also do is take a labeler, and you could put the name of your stamp set across the top on a label if you want to, or I'm sorry, your die set. And you could do the same for the stamp set too, but the stamp set name is pretty large. Anyways, that's the difference in the two sheets here. And then this, of course, will have, especially on a distinctive type of stamp imagery where you have the light and dark within, you're going to see the stamp image as if it's stamped. And on this one, you're going to see the die image as if the paper was cut out. That's what you're going to see. Now, when we take a peek at what's inside here, it does not come with a magnet sheet. This is what I've done with my dies because I love having them on magnets. Stampin' Storage now carries dies or magnet sheets for the dies that are fitting for this size packaging. So there is a link, I believe, in my description of my video. Let me take a peek here. Yeah, for the Stampin' Storage products, the magnet cards, the storage pockets, the creative crate, things that I'm going to be sharing, you can click and shop their stamp and die storage section with that link. I am an affiliate. I just want to tell you that too. I don't make any money from your particular, like you don't pay me. It doesn't cost you any money to place the order, but Stampin' Storage thanks me for sharing the information. Now, I have a whole room behind me of Stampin' Storage organizers. I love their stuff. I'm definitely going to talk about their stuff, whether I'm an affiliate with them or not. So if you use my link, though, it kind of helps supplement my income to help me to keep doing what I'm doing. Okay, back to the magnet sheet. So you can see that they're magnets on one side, and then on the back side, and I'm just going to peel this away. This does not come with it. Okay, on the back side, you have this shiny surface. This shiny surface is meant to go with your stamps. So if you really want to, you can take and you can like stick your stamps on the back side and store them together. So in that case, if you don't like the fact that the title is really small here, you could put them all into one packaging like that. Just slip them all into your one packaging. Now I do have, there we go. So it'll fit both of them inside there, and see, it's still thin. So Petals of Beauty, just assume that both your dies and your stamps are in there because they're connected to each other. I'm gonna peel this off because I like to keep my dies separate from my stamps. Not all die sets necessarily need to go with all stamp sets. So you see how these two, they're named the same, Delicate Framing and Delicate Framing dies. These could totally be used with any stamps, and these could be totally used with any dies. So that's why I don't store them together. I store them separately still, but I will keep them next to each other on my shelves. Okay, so I've invested in the dies, and I'm gonna get lots more because I love this. And so again, just know that you can stick your, oops, you can stick your stamps on the back if you want to. Your stamps still come with 2 plastic sheets to protect them, okay? But there's no printing to line up your imagery when putting your stamps back onto the plastic sheets. So I'm gonna give you a little hack that I'm gonna use. Okay, but let's talk about that in a minute. So the dies, let's go back to the dies. I was watching Patty Bennett's video the other day. She's so smart. So I love how she's putting her flaps inside of her holders. So you get these packages, right? And they come with your little sleeve that will encompass your dies or your stamps. That goes in here, and then you have this little mechanism to lock them. But it might take a while to take and find that little and then stick it in. And I love her thoughts. So this is what I'm gonna go with too. So for the stamps, I'm gonna take and open this up, and I'm gonna tuck the flap. Sorry, let's do that a little better. Open this up, and I'm gonna tuck the flap inside here. Oh gosh, Rachel, it was working so much better when you weren't doing it on camera. Okay, so you're gonna tuck the flap in there, and for my stamps, that's how I'm gonna do it. Because my stamps, again, where are the stamps? Because then they can stay protected right between the paper. If I put them here, then I could possibly, you know, like maybe put one piece of plastic inside and the other one gets caught, and then I'm like jamming my little sleeve, because there's 2 layers of plastic here, one on each side. So instead, I'm just gonna grab and open it up anyways, like I would with a pocket, and slide it in. And then it's just easy for me to grab. I am not gonna be taking my stamps and die packaging and having them tossed around into, you know, bags or on my table. I'm not gonna slide them across the table this way. I'm gonna store them upright. So going like that totally works for me, and it's so much quicker. Love that, thank you, Patty. Okay, then for the dies, okay, this one goes into my stamp one. There's my stamp one right there. For the dies, the flap I'm gonna do a little bit differently. I am going to take, and this is another idea of hers, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna put this in here, but I'm gonna keep these 2 together, and then I'm going to put my top flap down in like that. So it's in, it's holding both of these on the front side. So this way I can take my dies and I can slide them in and out like that. I believe that Patty is also doing it so that her front doesn't have this little divot here, so it's easier to kind of open this without having this, it's not consistent, right? If you had, let me show you. So here's another thought for the stamps. I believe she put hers in like this, but I decided I'm not gonna even worry about it. But she put them in this way instead, and then had this go in here. And then she went like that. But I kind of didn't like the fact that this was darker. Anyways, I'm just gonna do it the same way. So I could go back and watch her video and figure out why she did that, but to me it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go like that. Keep this open. Okay, open it up, Rachel. You only have to do it once and then you don't have to worry about it again. Open that up, tuck that in, slide in your stamps. Okay, that's for storage purposes. And for the dies, you can see here, same, but on the back side, I can pull the magnet in and out. Another good point to make is if you do have a tiny die like this, don't have it way at the top because, where did it go here? If any of you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I lost that guy the other day and I was like, where does this go? I don't even know. But thankfully, a bunch of people chimed in. It goes with the Thoughtful Moments die set. This is the old die packaging, by the way, or the old die storage system that I would use for previous dies. This is also from Stampin' Storage. So if you have dies that are, you know, in the regular containers and the I should say current, then you can get packaging like this to hold them. But they're changing it up to flow with Stampin' Up. So I'm happy for that. Anyways, this little guy here should be stored further in. Put them on your magnet further down. This one here too. I gotta put that down further. Don't let them get away from you anymore. Hold them in. Okay, back to this. So that's how I'm gonna do that with these two. Again, you could put a label across the top of your Stampin' Cut and Emboss to make sure that the name is bigger. Do you see these little green things here? That's my own organization for doing online exclusives versus catalog products. So if it's not in a catalog, I put a green sticker on it to show myself that that is something that only people can get online. These are new. These are pre-order products right now, so they are not available. You'll find in the description of my video, which I think I transferred over, right? that these aren't even listed yet because I can't link them. So I will try to update that if I remember to on November 4th. Okay, so that. Now, remember, let's go back to this idea here where we take and we use maybe imagery to help us to line our stamps back up. Because when you put your stamps away, how are they going to go again, right? So you could maybe go like this, you know, place them on here and then stick your sheet down. But the problem with that is going to be that your plastic sheet here is not always the same size as your packaging. See how these images on the side are sticking out? You're not going to be able to line them back up and use the plastic sheet. You could invest in some new window sheets and make them wider and do that. But then you're going to get into a problem with a stamp set like this. Here is my on display stamp set. Do you see this little birdhouse here, this little bird cage? Here's the stamp bird cage, and here's the image that's on the sleeve. They're not the same size. So you're not always guaranteed that you could line up your stamps on this to necessarily put them back on your plastic sheet and put them away. So I have a new solution for that too. Okay, that I'm loving. Okay, back to the magnets. So you can get these magnets, and they come with a smooth side, and they come with both sides are magnetic, but this side is great for sticking on those stamps if you want to. But you could also take, you know, the dies, how they come with the sticky sheet with the tape. And if you're like me, you like to pass along your stuff when it's retired. I'm a demonstrator, so I put them back into my stash and I sell them in a garage sale, I give them away, that sort of thing. This can be stuck on the back side perfectly. It just lines back up and, oh, well, I would line it up better, but you can store it with your container so that when you're ready to go and sell it again, you can keep your magnet sheet and then you can stick your stamps back on the same paper with the sticky tape. I don't know which one that goes to anymore, but that's okay. Okay, let's go to, oh, and I think you get a package of 5 of these. So, okay, let's go to my little trick. Paper or cardstock. I've already cut my cardstock, but it comes in 8.5 by 11, just like this sheet of typing paper. But you want to cut it to the same size as your plastic. So my plastic is 4 by 6. So I'm going to cut a piece that is 4 by 6. And I could do this on typing paper if I don't want to use my more expensive basic white cardstock. But I like the idea of the basic white cardstock because it's stiffer and I think it's going to store longer and it's not going to get beat up so much. You peel off your softer of the two. There's one that's a lot more flexible and then there's the stiffer one. Peel off the one that is less stiff and you're going to expose the stamping surface of your new stamp set. Make sure that they're on there the way you want. You know, I did remove these and then put them back on again, but they look like they're in a pretty good spot. Let me just rotate this a little bit. You can position it this way, right? You can set them up the way you want. And then you can take an ink pad color. You can see I've already used them. I made a card already with them. And then thankfully didn't use the whole set, so I was able to get them back into a puzzle piece kind of variation. Smoky slate. I'm using smoky slate versus some other color. You could use maybe a light blue or a light green. I wouldn't go too yellow or orange or even purple because then it tends to get more of a reddish tone in it, and that's the kind of stamp colors that will stain your stamps more so. This one doesn't tend to do much staining, so that's why I chose it. I'm going to ink it up. So I'm just putting smoky slate ink across the surface of all of these stamps, and I'm just pouncing real gently to ink up all of the stamps. And you'll notice, because this is a distinctive stamp set, that it doesn't look like all of them are getting inked up, but they are. Okay, then I'm going to kiss these two together. So I'm going to line up my paper, and this is why I did it the same size so that I wouldn't have to worry about looking beyond the border, right? If it was bigger, then I'd have to kind of like eyeball it and make sure it's on there. This is pretty much the same size as my plastic. I can then take this tool, which I haven't used much lately. It's the brayer. You can use your brayer. Just make sure that the pokey parts that you stand your brayer on are upright. And then you can take and roll across the surface so you get a nice even pressing to get those images to transfer onto your paper. You could also use a clear block if you don't have the brayer and just kind of go like this because you have a nice flat surface and it's helping to get the ink transferred evenly, or you could just use your fingers. You can also ink it very casually. You don't have to ink it like perfect. Just ink it and good enough kind of thing, right? Then you peel this off and you have a paper that allows you to play around with your images. Now, I just touched it, didn't I? Because Rachel's gonna get messy. No matter what video I do lately, Rachel's gonna get messy. We're gonna grab some paper towel. And if you are oh, what's that called? The Stamp and Scrub and Stamp and Mist user like I am, this is what I did last night. I put my Stamp and Mist on here, and then I put it on here, and I spritzed a little bit more where I didn't see any wetness, and then I just kind of pressed. But this is a smarter idea. Thank you, Terry Gaines. I watched your video too. Terry Gaines, when I watched hers this morning, she took her, where is mine? Oh, it's sitting underneath my stamp pad. One of these little guys, and I cut mine down because I really have a problem with how stained they get. These are those Stampin' Scrubs, and you can take and wipe off your stamps with a Stampin' Scrub because that can get into the nooks and crannies, and anyways, that's how you can clean it. Now, how will we use this sheet? First of all, you're gonna have to take your stamps off because to line them back up, you're gonna go like this. And you're gonna put them over these areas here. And then you're gonna want your stiffer plastic connecting with it. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm putting them upside down. So the stamped surface, not the flat back, but the stamping surface that you typically use is connecting with the imagery that's on this sheet. And I'm sorry, this is taking a little bit of time. Maybe I should have grabbed a smaller stamp set. It's okay. But see how we're lining all that back up, and it's all gonna fit on this sheet. And it's coming off this way. I'm sticking it on here. Oh, you know what? Oh, Rachel didn't think this through all the way. I do want to use my stiffer one this way. I was thinking I needed to do it this way, but no, you don't even have to peel them off. Don't even have to peel them off. Oh my goodness sakes. If only we could edit, but it's a live video, so we're just gonna keep going. Okay, I'm gonna put these back on here. No need to peel them off, Rachel. I think I thought about that this morning and I was like, oh, and then I convinced myself that I needed to do that, but you don't. Okay, so all of these are going back where they were. Okay, there we go. So peel your paper away. There's your stamps. So once you line up your stamp, once you use a stamp, you've stamped with it, blah, 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 you've cleaned it off, just put it back down onto your paper. Take this whole sheet, pick it back up in place, and then you can put this protective, looser film over the top and just store them together. It doesn't even matter if they're stored together lined up. I mean, if they were, you'd have to flip this over. It doesn't, or you could do this way, but it doesn't matter. This is just a guide sheet, and it's gonna help you out when you're done using a stamp. Just stick it down, peel off that, line it back up, and stick it in place. Now I'm hoping, and I was kind of doing that fast, now I'm hoping that over time, Stampin' Up will hear some of us and say, oh gosh, let's just put a little insert in there. Because that's all we really need is an insert like this, and you can do it so quickly with the ink just stamped lightly on there and stamped on paper. So easy to do. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in here, and I'm gonna see if you guys have any questions. I'm gonna go to my computer because my laptop doesn't always share everything. And I'm gonna see if there's any questions. At this point, if you've asked a question and I haven't seen it and it's way at the top, make sure you ask it again, okay? Oh, good. I'm so glad that this is helpful to you guys. Thank you. Brayer use, you like that? Good. Use the Stampin' Storage magnetic sheets and envelopes to keep the dies that are universal and have at ready without having to search for them. I love Stampin' Storage's organization stuff. It's so awesome. So this is the old stamp set cases that we have, right? These are the new, much taller, a little bit wider, and of course, much, much skinnier. So as far as storing them, this is what we all fell in love with. Oops, I'm gonna take that out of there. We all fell in love with having these little labels on the side. Do you know that this labeling system here on the side of the boxes didn't come until way later? We got spoiled in the last few years. For many, many years, we didn't have anything like this. So we got spoiled. Now they're going to a system that's going to allow us to have a concise crafting space. And so I believe over time, we're going to get used to this system and we're going to fall in love with it. And we're gonna be like, these cases are so big, but if you really like these cases, you can still buy them. Stampin' Up is gonna make them available as long as people are still purchasing them. And keep in mind that we are not transferring over all the stamps right away. You certainly can do that with your own stash, but it'll just be over time. It'll be a gradual progression. The newer things are gonna come in this, and the things that they have in their stock that are still in these cases will come in this. So it'll take me personally a couple years or more maybe to transfer from the shelf usage to a bin usage where I'm flapping through. If you want to take, oh, how are you going to store them? I'm going to get to that. Okay. Oh, I asked for questions and then I forgot to look. Okay. I'm going to get to that. So do you see this plastic sheet here? This plastic sheet is about 5.5 inches big and, you know, maybe the size of this box here. So I could make it maybe a little smaller, but 5.5 is the widest I would make it. This is a cling stamp set. After I have taken all of my labels and put them on the back of my stamps, I could then do the same thing where I take and add them to a plastic sheet like this. Oh, that one has a label too. So I could take and do this and puzzle piece them on here however they fit. I don't know, I'd probably do this a lot neater, but you guys got the idea, right? Okay, so I've got them all on my plastic sheet, and now I can take and put them into an extra one of these bins, because we have, you can buy these extra too. Well, you will be able to starting November 4th. You can buy more of these storage containers, and you can then slip your stamp set, even if it's cling, it's a little thicker. Oh, and you might want to take 2 pieces of plastic. Sorry, you might want to put another one on top just to make it so easier to slide in and out. I forgot to do that. See how I have to kind of bend this because the rubber is getting caught up on this, wants to stick to it. But you can see that it's a little thicker, but it will work. You can store them in there, but you'll want to have your own little like window sheet collection and storage, you know, store them between the 2 plastic sheets. They're a little bit thicker. Then you take your case that has, oh, and look at that. Oh, this one is, that's because it's cling. I'm like, where did the other half of the case go? I forget that some of them don't have the extra half. So then you can take this, you can fold this part back, and this you can put into your storage container like that. You can even put your flap down on top of it if you want to keep it in place. See, it still locks it in there. See how it's still holding it? And then you can slide your stamp set with 2 pieces of plastic in and out easily. So if you wanted to transfer all your stuff, you certainly can using that method. If you have a larger little sleeve here, let's see if my other one has a larger sleeve. It does, okay. So I'm gonna take these. So if you have a larger sleeve, like this photopolymer one, because that has imagery on it already, you can take and fold it. You can fold it completely in half, which will allow it to still fit, but then you're kind of squishing that title, or you could fold it so that this is kind of inward and fold that in half so that you're not having your title look odd. It'll kind of be tucked in there. However you want to do it, but you can just fold that, stick that in there, and then you've already got with your photopolymer 2 pieces of plastic, so this sheet will slide in and out easily too, because it's already between 2 pieces of plastic. As far as having imagery, you do have a guide already for that, because these stamp sets already came with the little layout that you would need. Let's see how that goes. So there's your layout, so you can just line up your images using the inside of your sleeve if you were to just take and transfer these into the new containers. So again, folding them in half will still allow them to fit. See how that still fits? And then, of course, your dies can be done the same way. Let's see here. Here's my old die sleeve. So your die sleeve might have to be folded a little differently, like you might have to refold it, something like that, so that it fits in with your new magnets on their sheets. And you see this one here? This one, I don't even know if that'll fit, because look at that. That's too huge. So I don't think, like, there are going to be some odd size dies over time that will not fit in the exact same packaging that they'll have in larger packaging or whatever, but almost all of their stamps and dies will fit in packaging like this. So this one I probably wouldn't want to transfer over. Okay, next, how am I going to store them? Okay, let me look to see if there's any other questions. What size of bin do you use to store? Okay, so now we go to the storage thing. So let me pull these over here. There's so many cases out there, you guys, that you could get. The Country Hive has some crates. If you go on Amazon and you put in, you know, measurements, you can find crates. You can go to the dollar store and find crates. This is the crate, and it's in the natural right now. I'm getting one in white, but this is the one from Stampin' Storage, just to show you how big it is. Oops, I can't zoom in with that one, or zoom out. Okay, just to show you how big it is. This is big, you guys. This is a big crate. This is their, and I'm gonna look at my description of my video to tell you the right name. This is their creative crate. They call this a creative crate. And it obviously will fit these guys. And it has a little, do you see this too? There's an angled end so that you have the ability to go like this to search, right? If everything was packed tight in here and you didn't have an angled end, you'd have to pull things up and out to look to see what you're going through. But this way it makes it quicker because you can kind of go like this and file through if you have a slight angle to one side. You can put that tip to the back or to the front, whatever works for you. I think I have mine. Yeah, I have mine in my, because I have creative crates back there for other things. This one is perfect for these stamp sets though. They're also perfect because they're 6 inches wide inside. So here you can see I've got lots of pieces in here. I mean, this is how many already. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. And they, like the dies already have magnets in them. And look how many are in there. That's a huge amount. So this is from the Stampin' Storage, and these are already available. The magnet sheets from them are already available. I was gonna grab this one, okay. So this is my other creative crate from them. This is one that was wider, as you can see. So here's their narrower one. And this fits the wider dies. So they do have ones for their regular, you know, been around all the time, their pockets and their magnetic die sheets or whatever that you can put your stuff on. They've also got these little sections on the bottom here that help you, because you can, like, one of the pieces will go down in there and it'll kind of stop the rest from sliding forward or whatever. I like that a lot. I oftentimes will take and like scoot my dies forward, and then because there's a little hitch down there, a little channel, I can then tilt them and go like this again, and I don't know, makes it easier. And I think that they, oh, I might have done that. I made my own little dividers because I think you can buy dividers and I didn't. I made my own. If you're looking for the Country Hive stuff, I don't have one of their little crates for these stamps and dies yet, but know that there's like a plastic version, and I don't know how wide they are. I haven't looked on those yet, but I know that Ashley and James have crates that are wide enough for these guys. So why do we already have crates that are wide enough? Because there are other things that were made for these holders, and I'm going to show you what they are really quickly. I keep my embellishments in this kind of fashion. And seriously, that's all the embellishments I have. Can you believe that? I'm a minimalist. Okay, so then this, and what else am I grabbing? I'm going to grab some beautiful new papers. Okay, so these holders also fit your embossing folders, like even your huge ones. Your huge ones, your regular ones, you know, if you have narrow ones, you can fit them all in here. And the beauty of something like this, of a size crate that fits your stamp and dies new storage, is that you can pair up your embossing folders, your dies, and your stamp sets, so they're all in one little section. It's going to save you time when looking. When I click on the link for the magnetic sheet, it just shows 3x5. Is that what there's actually a drop-down menu, Margaret. There's a drop-down menu on their page, so you're going to click on their drop-down menu. I use the 6x7 for my current dies. Where did they go? My current dies, which are somewhere. I don't know where I put them. Oh, here's a set. Okay, so these guys here, this is 6x7 for the current ones. And then the pockets, you can get the pockets too. I hope that helps. How are my tabs labeled? You can label these tabs, is that what you're asking about? Or the ones that were in the other crate? I use a labeler that I also have in my favorite extras. I need to obviously expand the list of things that are in the description of the video. I will try to remember to put that in there too. But if you go to my favorite extras on my website at stampyourartout.com, so go to shop, go to my favorite extras, and you're going to see the labeler system. It's like a kind of, it hooks up to your computer or your printer. It's really, really cool. So I can like print to my printer. Well, no, it's a printer. So I go from my device and it prints it's just, I don't remember how it works. I don't know. It's all within itself. It's so cool. Trying to think of how, yeah, so it's prints within itself, but it uses, anyways, some kind of printing, thermal or whatever they call it. Okay, I'm not very smart on that area, but these are 6x7. And for these little tabs here, for this, that's where I used my labeler. So you have to keep them separate. What are you asking on that? I'm not sure what you're asking, Susan. Okay. Yes, I totally remember the old clam cases. We called them clam cases, you're right. Susan, elaborate on what you mean by do I have to keep them separate? How are your tabs labeled? We got that figured out. And then what length are those crates? Okay, so mine is, and I don't have, okay, this one, I was gonna look for a tape measure, but we're just gonna have to rely on my finger staying still. This one is a little over 14 inches in this direction on the top by 7 1/16. 7 1/16. Okay. Other crate by subject, alphabetical. Oh, yes. So yeah, how are you going to organize them that way too? So I'm somebody who likes to organize my stamps and my dies by categories. So whatever you're organizing by them by now, just stick with your same system because that's what you're used to. It's just that you're gonna have to look at them this way, right? Instead of looking at the labels on the side for the newer stuff. Unless you want to, you could take and transfer these into the older cases, right? You could do that. But I am gonna still categorize my stamps and my dies in the same way. I'm gonna have my Christmas chunk together. I'm gonna have my flowers, my leaves, my Halloween, my birthday, my letters and alphabet and words, and numbers, shapes, like basic shapes, like my circles and my squares. You know what I mean? I'm going to put them together like that. And I'm obviously going to have a few more of these bins over time, but for now, this will totally do for a long time because it's going to take you time to kind of transition if that's what you want to do. Yeah, and some people might want to do it alphabetically too. So yeah, a lot of people have way more stamps, way more embellishments, way more dies than I do. I am a business demonstrator in that, I mean, I love it for the hobby too, but I take and once something retires, I no longer use it. I may, but I typically no longer use it. So yeah, I only keep current stuff. Other crate by subject, alphabetical. Okay, so yeah, by subject or alphabetical. Some people do it alphabetically. If you're gonna do it alphabetically, you know that nowadays they're identifying the dies and the stamp sets that go with them in the bundles by the same exact name. So that would work where you could do it alphabetically, totally. That way you can still keep your dies and stamps together. What's the size for the new packaging? I mentioned that earlier when we were showing the website, but I can measure that really quickly again for you. I think it's 5 5/8 by 9. 5 5/8, yep, by 9 inches, yes. Okay, oh, the size of the magnet for the new packaging. The size of the magnet, here they are. So the size of the magnet is a little less because you want to have some leeway. So it's 5 1/8 by 8 1/2. 5 1/8 by 8 1/2. So 1/2 inch difference in each direction, giving you a 1/4 inch border all the way around. Debbie goes, mine are organized by which pile are they in? Well, that's what my desk looks like right now. I don't know where anything is on my desk. I was just going to mention that, yeah. The Country Hive has crates as well, and they are wider and they fit. I'm not sure how much taller they are because you can see there's a height here too, which will help for these dies to kind of stay within without flopping over the side. So if you have something, I do need to talk to Ashley. We've kind of talked here and there and I've forgotten to get back to her. But if you have something that's at least halfway up, which I think her crates are if you're going to compare here. Oh yeah, So that'll work. So if it's at least halfway up, you don't have to worry about your things flopping out, right? You don't want them to flop out. Thank you, Kim. All right, so yes, Kim has them as well. They do, she's confirmed. They come in a 5-pack, and the measurements that are on the website must be 5 by 8.5, although mine literally measures 5 1/8. So you get a little extra in mine. Do you keep your stamps? I did keep my stamp set. There's no, yeah, layering leaves. I have only 2 of. I have 2 layering leaf stamp sets. I was gonna buy a bunch of them before they disappeared, and I didn't do it soon enough. They disappeared. So my bad. All right, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I didn't cover. Do you guys have other questions? So yeah, your embossing folders can fit in these with your coordinating dies and your coordinating stamp sets. You can also fit your 6x6 paper packs in here. 6x6 paper packs, your masks. You could obviously put like envelopes in there too, or things like that, but your masks would fit in here. Oh gosh, I'm trying to find, oh, here's a mask. Here's a set of masks. See, they fit in there too. So you can keep your masks with your layers of beauty stamp set and dies, you know what I mean? Like all of it will coordinate. Other questions that we might have. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you for coming onto the live with me. And I believe I shared everything. You know what always happens though? I go away from my video and then I'm like, why did I forget to say that? There's always something, because Rachel's a talker. Storage tips and hacks are very helpful. Thank you. Yes, and again, like I was really worried when they first announced all of this change, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I gotta adjust my shelves. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. But you know what? These stamp sets that are on my shelf, just see if I can, so there's my stamp set shelf. Can't totally see all of it, but I have the same kind of system where we keep them like the edges out, like the binding out or whatever you want to call it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm eventually going to use these shelves for something else, but for now, I'm going to need to use them still. And my creative crates, or they could even go down here, but I'm going to have my other stamps and dies still in the same kind of area, but I'll just have them in a different kind of accessible container, like from the Stampin' Storage. I hope that labeling system thing helped, and the tucking of the flaps. I love that idea. I think that that's going to help a lot. But yeah, over time, we'll get used to it and it'll be very enjoyable. And our stamp room will be more concise as far as storage goes, and then we can buy even more. Oh, thank you, Judy. Yeah, most people do keep their old stuff, Tina. I'm just, if I do, my whole room would be filled, because I've been a demonstrator for over 25 years. And before that, I was stamping for at least a year before I don't know. And then I had a party like when I was like 20 some years old for some other company. Like I had a lot of stuff, and I needed to make room. So, all right. A hang over the door pocket keeper for $29 on Amazon. It will fit with these new stamp. Yeah, that's an idea too. So if you have something on your wall with pockets coming outward, like a shoe holder, those pairs of shoes, I'm guessing it's something like that. And you can tuck your pockets in there or your sleeves in there, because they'd be wide enough. Here's an embossing folder, but you got the idea. And then it would tip out forward, because that's how those shoe containers are. And then you have them all right there. That's a great idea for holding them. So over time, I will have a whole, room revamp, but it will take long. It will take a long time, because we're not switching everything over right away. At least Rachel isn't. You can, because you have the new pocket sleeves that you can invest in, but I'm going to just over time, slowly, gradually kind of get my system. For now, that's what I'm choosing. Oh, good. I'm glad that you like the tips. I don't see any other questions, so I must have given you guys some great ideas to use. Hopefully you can take them and roll with them. I'm going to let you all go. This video was actually a lot shorter than my normal ones. Oh, you all rock. Thanks for coming on the live with me. Again, just note that my My website is stampyourartout.com if you're interested in learning more about stamping ideas, paper crafting, card making, scrapbooking, that sort of thing. Most of my lives and my videos are about instructing on how to make really cool projects with Stampin' Up! Products. So I hope that you check out my video or my website and you give me the thumbs up on this video, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I would love to have you continue to come back and visit. I do lives 1 time a week at least, and up to 2 times a week typically is what's going on again now that fall has started. So I would love for you to come back and see what other creative ideas that I share with you in the future. Thanks, everybody. I'll let you all go now. Have a great rest of your day. I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out now. Bye-bye.